Now we're going to graph in rationals with our second form. Now in our second form, we are going to have to do some factoring. So I'm going to go ahead and factor both top and bottom of my fraction, my numerator and denominator. I'm going to use the box method. All right. Now when you do that, you're going to end up getting x plus 5 times x plus 3 for your numerator, and then 2x plus 1 and x plus 3 for your denominator. Now when you do this, you're going to find out that you're going to have some factors that are going to divide out. So the factor x plus 3 is going to get divided out. That means we have a whole. Now the factor was x plus 3, that means my value was x equals negative 3. So there's a point that we're physically going to take away from our picture. So we're not going to be able to use this specific value of x equals negative 3. We will have to find the y value. Right. So what is left over is going to be x plus 5 over 2x plus 1. Now from here, we're going to be able to identify our other two pieces of information. We always want to identify a vertical asymptote and a horizontal asymptote. This one had something extra, which is going to be that whole value. All right, the numerator is not going to, I'm sorry, not the numerator, the denominator, the 2x plus 1, that is where my vertical asymptote is located. We're trying to figure out what value makes that 0, and when you solve, you end up getting negative 1/2. So we have a vertical asymptote at x equals negative 1/2. Now I'm going to come over here, same equation, I'm going to identify my horizontal asymptote. You're going to see that the x and the x on the numerator and in the denominator, they are equal. Now remember, we talked about top heavy, bottom heavy, and equal. Since these are equal, we're going to divide the values in front of those x's. So I have a 1 in my numerator, a 2 in my denominator. That's my horizontal asymptote. So you can see I'm writing the word equal. Horizontal asymptote now becomes y equals 1/2. So we identified our vertical, our horizontal. We also identified a whole. So the next part is we're going to do some graphing. So we're going to take this equation, the x plus 5 divided by 2x plus 1, we're going to try and graph that. First, I'm going to identify the things that we just did. Vertical asymptote, x equals negative 1/2. Horizontal asymptote, y equals 1/2. And then our whole. Our whole is negative 3 comma something. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to try and find out what that point is. So I'll take that x value and plug it into my equation. The x plus 5 divided by 2x plus 1. Not the original one, but this one. So negative 3 plus 5. 2 times negative 3 plus 1. So you end up getting 2 over negative 5. Yeah, it's not the best point, but at least we know where it's located, and we're just going to, remember, this is just a rough picture, a rough sketch. Just identify where it could possibly be located. All right, now I'll draw my xy axis. I'm going to draw my x value of negative 1/2, that's my vertical. My y value of positive 1/2, that's my horizontal. So I'll draw my vertical asymptote and my horizontal asymptote. Now the other thing that I'm also going to do is I'm going to plot the point negative 3 comma negative 2/5. And that is going to be my whole. Now from here, let me back up. Let me back up a little bit here. Sorry. We plotted our point, our whole. From here, I would go to my calculator. Type it in, x plus 5 divided by 2x plus 1, and see what the picture is going to look like. Remember, it's just a rough sketch. The main three things that you needed, the horizontal asymptote, the vertical asymptote, and in this case, that whole. From there, just draw a rough picture, and then you're done. Now, obviously, we're going to have to identify our domain and our range. So let's start to work from the left side of my domain, which is negative infinity. I'm going to start moving to my right. Eventually, we're going to run into values that we can't use. So the first x value that we're not able to use is that whole. So negative infinity to negative 3. Now I'm going to start out with that value again. Negative 3 is going to work to my next x value that we're excluding, which is that vertical asymptote, which is negative 1/2. And then I'm going to start with that again, and I'm going to go from negative 1/2 to the end of my domain, which is infinity. So you can see that we're excluding two values on x, negative 1/2 and negative 3. So we're going to have to start working from left to right, negative infinity up to the whole, negative 3, between the whole and my vertical asymptote, which is negative 3 to negative 1/2, and then everything to the right of my vertical asymptote, which is negative infinity to negative 1/2 to positive infinity. We're going to do the exact same thing for my range. All right, we're going to work from the bottom, which is negative infinity, up to that whole value, which is negative 2 over 5. We're going to be in between the whole and the horizontal asymptote, and then everything above the horizontal asymptote. So you're going to see when I'm writing here, I'm going to run out of some space, so just bear with me. So it is my first part, negative infinity, up to the whole value. Now my whole to my horizontal asymptote, and then my horizontal asymptote above. And there's my range. These get a little messy with domain and range. Do your best. If you can at least draw a nice picture and identify vertical, horizontal, and the whole, that you're looking pretty good.